morning, dear students. The topic what we are going to see for today's class is time of supply and that in service taxes. So, what is the time of supply first? So, in order to calculate and discharge tax liability, it is important to know the date when the tax liability arises. That is, uh, uh, based on your time of supply, you can identify the tax liability when you will be liable to pay your GST to the GST Council. So for that only this time of supply plays a vital role. Okay, and the date on which the charging event has occurred. So based on the event occurred, it decides. So in GST law, it is known as time of supply. So GST law has provided separate provision to determine the time of supply of goods and time of supply of service. So when it comes to goods and services means goods and services it includes. So here when it comes to under the time of supply, so they have given separate provisions for this time of supply of goods and time of supply of services, which is discussed under section 12 subsection 13 and 14 of CGST Act 2017 and deals with the provision related to time of supply and by virtue of section 20 of IGST Act and the provision also applicable to an interstate supplies available, interstate supply available on to integrated taxes. Okay, the provision regarding the time of supplies are categorized into 4 ways. So basically, all the time of supply concept will work based on these 4 provisions. That is, forward charge mechanism, reverse charge mechanism, vouchers, and all other instances. So all other cases or situations. Okay, so let us first look into a time of supply under the forward charge mechanism. So, time of supply means when it comes to a transfer of goods or services, it includes a various steps. Starts from the date of issue of invoice or date of issue of payment or date of disposable of the goods or date of dispatch of goods or date of the goods delivered. So that and all it matters. Okay, so here when it comes to forward charge mechanism, on what basis you are going to identify this time of supply? That is, time of supply of goods in case of forward charge mechanism. Accordingly, the time of supply of goods would be earliest. So, in this whichever is the earliest, that will be considered as a time of supply. So, first one is date of issue of invoice and due date for issue of invoice and date of receipt of payment. So, in when it comes to supply of goods, these are the some various steps are involved. So, in this 3 steps with dates we have to consider, that is date of issue of invoice and due date for issue of invoice and date of receipt of payments. So in this whichever occurs earlier, so that date will be considered as a time of supply. So say for example, if the date of issue is 1st January 2021 and date of issue of invoice is 2nd January 2021, date of receipt of payment 3rd January 2021. So in this case, whichever is earlier, so 1st January 2021, right? So that will be considered as a time of supply, and the due date will be the succeeding month 20th date. So succeeding month of Jan is nothing but February. February 20th, you will be paying your GST payable. So this is how you have to calculate the time of supply, and this is how it helps us to identify the GST liability. Okay. So next is, and when you are looking into that, some provisions related to issue of invoice, which is disclosed under section 31. So that is issue of invoice must be. So we have to follow these are the steps. That is on or before time of removal. So the invoice should be issued before the this date. That is time of removal of goods, and there is a case where supply is invoice movement of goods on or before delivery of goods of recipient, or this should happen where supply does not involve any movement of goods, or on or before issue of a statement of accounts, and this should take place in case of where the supply continuously supplies goods. So in this case, this issue of invoice should be issued and on or before the time of supply, subject to a maximum of 6 months from the date of removal, and whichever is earlier. This occurs in case of the goods are supplied on approval for sale or written basis. Okay, so on this basis only it works. So now the date of receipt of payment should be considered earliest of, that is date of credit in the entry of book and displayed in the bank statement, or the date in which payment is recorded in the books of accounts of supplier. Now there might be a scenario when the supplier excess payment up to rupees 10,000, the time of supply of goods excess value can be taken as a due date of invoice. Okay, so by this we come to end of the time of supply under the forward charge mechanism. Okay, thank you. We'll see you in the next class, next